We should be carrying on live here. We got it.
I
And
got it.
good morning, Bob Tassoon.
Hey, how you doing, John?
I'm doing very well. Happy Wednesday morning here. We got a cold, bitter cold kind of day ahead of us
Yeah, but
here
it's a sunny
today.
day.
It is a beautiful sunny day, not a cloud in the sky out there because it's too cold for any kind of moisture to exist in the air right now. So that is kind of just one of those wintry kind of days. We do get those here in the greater Williamsburg area every now and then in the winter time. So welcome to winter. I was kind of wondering if it would ever happen again.
Yeah, well, I thought maybe winter was canceled this year.
It seems like it has been for the last couple of years. Who knows? We got a little bit of, a little bit of taste of these little white flakes that were flying around in the air this week, and,
Yeah, we
and
had a flurry. Oh
kind of
boy,
nice to
had to
see
send the
it.
kids home from school.
Yeah, the cold weather. I presume that there was expectation for black ice or something. Anytime the temperatures drop
Mm.
so low when you've got moisture on the roads, it will freeze, flash freeze overnight, and that causes black ice and that kind of thing. Which is, of course, a good reason to have good insurance.
Oh, yeah, very.
Right. So all these things that you and I talk about, we're here to help people understand how to protect their assets, particularly where it involves real estate. And so today, I know that you have some really good information you want to help share about those individuals. And this is something we're seeing a lot more, and we're going to see a lot more of this over the coming years, is solar and
Yeah.
alternative energy sources and things that the homeowner can do to kind of help themselves feel good about. In some cases, sometimes we do it to feel good, sometimes we do it because it's just a viable economic endeavor. But solar panels are something that a lot of people are putting on their homes, and there's special programs that are offered with some tax credits and so forth. Don't want to get into that a whole lot right now, but we do see them more and more, and we're going to see more and more of this. What does somebody need to do to make sure that their solar panels are, because these things are expensive. We're talking anywhere from, could be eight or $10,000 maybe on the low end to 30, $40,000 investment for putting solar panels on your home. What do you got to do to make sure that those things are
Well,
insured?
the first thing is if you're leasing the solar panels, you don't own them, then you've got to insure them some other way because your homeowner's insurance doesn't cover things that are leased or provided to you where you don't own them.
Okay.
Okay. But if you own the solar panels, you're buying them and you're affixing them to the roof of your house, well, we're going to go through the ABC of homeowner insurance. Coverage A is the dwelling, the house that you live in.
All right. Good to know.
Coverage B is separate structures like a garage or a shed or something like that. And then coverage C is personal property. So where are the solar panels going? If they're being affixed to the roof of your house, then something happens to them, they would be covered by coverage A because they're a fixture. They're part of your house. They're just like the roof is covered under coverage A because it's nailed down onto your house,
Okay.
screwed in. Okay. Versus if you decided to install them on a garage that was separate or a shed or some other structure, then they would be covered under coverage B, which is separate structures. You need to look out for that because coverage B, the amount of coverage is limited on most homeowner policies to 10% of coverage A. So
Okay.
if you got a $300,000 house, then coverage A is 300,000, but coverage B is only 30,000.
Okay. That's for the structure and for whatever
And the panels.
additions you have on it. Okay.
And so you may need to ask your agent to increase the amount under coverage B if you were affixing them to the roof of your garage or some other separate structure.
Right.
Now, if somebody had a bright idea because of the trees in your yard or something, they say, well, you can't put them on the roof of your house, you can't put them on the garage. We're going to put them out here in the backyard, and they're not affixed to anything. then they're covered under coverage C, which is your personal property, which is just like anything else that is lying around in your yard. If a tree falls and it decimates your picnic table, that's covered under coverage C. Now, I don't recommend you make a claim for that, but it would be covered under coverage C because it's personal property.
Right. So I mean, and yeah, we've talked about the implications of what happens to your coverages and so forth. So again, if somebody's having a question and they've got a question about these kind of coverages that they're looking to have or making this investment, which is a significant capital outlay to add solar to your home. I think it's a smart investment. I think it's something that some people it's smart in certain circumstances. I don't want to go too far to say it's something everybody should do. That's not necessarily the case, but in certain circumstances, it can be beneficial. You can if it's done right and installed correctly, you can save yourself a significant amount of money on your monthly utility bills. It's it it can make you feel more comfortable that you're not spending a lot of money on your utility bills, giving all that money to the utility provider and so forth. But it can also offset outages when there's issues when power goes out, which does not happen that often. Doesn't happen that often in this area, but it can happen. And it can just feel good to not be relying on all these other systems that are out there and having your own self-reliance. So some of it, I think, for some people is just being self-reliant. But with those kind of investments, you want to protect the money that you're putting out there.
So there's different types of solar panels as well. You think of solar panels to generate electricity, but some people have solar panels that heat their hot water.
Mm-hmm.
And so I would need to know what type of solar panel it is, how many kilowatt hours the panel generates, or if it's a panel that is designed for hot water heating. Those are the kind of things that you need to know about if you're trying to insure the solar panels. And I think this might come into play when you're buying a house that has solar panels and you don't really know anything about them because
Good point.
they're up there.
Yeah,
You
and they
got
kind of come with the house. Once they're on
they
there,
come in a
they
house, so you
they
got to
come with the house.
ask some
Yeah.
questions. Do you have any paperwork on these solar panels? What do I need to know? Because I need to talk to my insurance agent about insuring them, or what kind of insurance do you have on them yourself?
And that's a value. So another valuable point here is often those solar panels, because they are a significant investment, have a loan or there's some kind of a loan that's tied to those, whether it's a personal loan that the seller has or whatever. They're financed. Usually they are financed, and either it's somehow tied to maybe even title and deed to the house. There's different ways that these things can be financed, and short of paying cash for them, most of them are financed. So if they're financed, you borrow money for that, you want to have it protected because somebody else, if something happens to those solar panels, now you're making payments on something. You want to make sure that they're working.
You want to know how old they are, just like your roof. The panels have a serviceable life,
Correct. So,
which I think is on average 25 years.
so they'll have to be replaced at some point or even
So
fade.
if you're buying a house with solar panels and they're 20 years old, then you need to, you know, wonder how efficient they are,
Right.
or those are questions that need to be raised if you run into solar panels on the roof.
Yeah, there's a lot of things to consider when it comes to adding something like solar to your home. Well, Bob, I appreciate your sharing the insight that you have here on how to make sure that they are insured correctly. And again, if anybody has questions for how to insure and how to protect your assets, Bob, what's the best way for somebody to get in touch with you?
Call me 757-870-3521 or go to
Okay.
bobtessone.com.
Okay, so your website is bobtassone.com.
It directs you to my company website.
Perfect. Okay, that is great. Well, Bob, again, thank you for sharing this valuable information with us here this morning, and we're here to make sure that that we can educate folks and help them make smart decisions and avoid costly mistakes when it comes to real estate and protecting their assets. So thank you very much, and have a great day.
Great to see you, John. Take
All
care.
right. Bye.
Bye.